Imagine waking up to a world completely encased in ice, a planet frozen solid overnight. This chilling thought experiment explores what might happen if Earth were to experience an instantaneous, sudden freeze, plunging temperatures across the globe to well below freezing within hours. This dramatic change would have catastrophic effects on the climate, ecosystems, and human life. This is My Thoughts on Everything, and today we are going to talk about what if the Earth froze suddenly overnight? Here's a detailed breakdown of the consequences of such an event, from the immediate impact to the long-term fallout. Immediate consequences: instant death of life on the surface. If Earth froze suddenly overnight, the drop in temperature would be so extreme that most life on the surface would not survive. Unlike the gradual onset of an ice age, a sudden freeze would give no time for adaptation or preparation. Temperature plummet. Earth's surface temperature would likely drop hundreds of degrees, reaching well below freezing in all regions, including the equator. Oceans, lakes, and rivers would begin freezing from the surface almost immediately, starting with the poles and working inward. Mass death of wildlife and vegetation. Animals, plants, and microorganisms that rely on a relatively narrow range of temperatures would be wiped out instantly. Most plant life would freeze and die, cutting off food sources for herbivores, which in turn would devastate the food chain. Human life. Humanity would face near immediate extinction on a frozen planet. Most people would freeze to death within hours as power grids fail, heating systems shut down, and shelters become inadequate against the sudden, lethal cold. Even modern technology wouldn't be able to withstand temperatures this extreme without sufficient warning or time to prepare. The atmosphere, freezing, and oxygen crisis. As temperatures plummet across the planet, the Earth's atmosphere would undergo rapid changes. Air pressure and condensation. The freezing temperatures would cause the moisture in the atmosphere to condense and fall as snow, further intensifying the cold. The air itself would become denser as colder air sinks, causing drastic drops in atmospheric pressure, making it difficult for humans and animals to breathe even before freezing. Oxygen supply reduction. With plants frozen and unable to perform photosynthesis, oxygen production would stop. Over time, the atmosphere's balance would begin to shift, depleting the oxygen supply. While this wouldn't be an immediate threat, in the longer term, oxygen levels would decline significantly, especially for any surviving underground or artificial habitats. Oceans and water bodies, rapid freezing and crust formation. The world's oceans, which cover 70% of the planet's surface, would undergo a dramatic transformation in a sudden freeze scenario. The freezing of large bodies of water would have profound effects on Earth's climate and ecosystems. Oceans would start freezing from the top down. In an initial freeze, a thick layer of ice would form on the surface of the seas, cutting off the interaction between the ocean and the atmosphere. Smaller water bodies like rivers and lakes would freeze solid within hours, and coastal regions would turn into vast ice plains. Life beneath the ice. Marine life in the upper layers of the ocean would die off as temperatures drop. However, in the deep ocean, life near hydrothermal vents, areas where geothermal heat creates unique ecosystems, might survive for a time. These ecosystems are independent of sunlight and rely on chemical processes for energy, giving them a short-term advantage. But even they wouldn't be immune forever as the planet continues to freeze. Geological and atmospheric changes. The planet's dynamics shift. As temperatures drop and ice covers the Earth, the planet's dynamics, both geologically and atmospherically, would shift in ways that would further alter life as we know it. Tectonic activity. In the short term, Earth's tectonic plates would likely continue to move as these processes are driven by internal heat. However, as the planet freezes, heat from the Earth's core might eventually slow tectonic movements, causing earthquakes and volcanic activity to lessen over time. Climate systems collapse. Earth's climate systems, driven by the sun's heat, ocean currents, and atmospheric patterns, would cease functioning. The water cycle would halt as evaporation, precipitation, and ocean currents stop. Winds and weather patterns, which depend on temperature differences, would calm, leaving a stagnant and cold atmosphere. The result would be a permanent deep freeze. That's enough for today. We will talk about long-term consequences in the next video. Stay tuned and keep supporting us. Thank you.